So that, that's always a project manager's trade-off. How do you balance quality with time and money? If you had as much money in, regardless of what the project is, whether it's an instructional design project or building a bridge, if you have a lot of money and a lot of time, you can make a great bridge. If you don't have as much money and don't have as much time, then your beautiful 4-lane bridge becomes a 2-lane bridge, and it, hopefully is still earthquake proof and all those kinds of things. So you manage those quality things, but you have to shrink things down. In our project, the BYU Learning Suite, we have a kind of a pretty fixed quality target, in that there's an existing learning management system. And so let's say that the satisfaction level is here with the existing learning management system. So we have to at least hit that target. Now, what we've had to do is define what that target is. That basically that means no outages. We can't look at the history of that learning management system and say, well, when they first started, there were lots of outages and, things like that. We can't do that because when it first started, they had 100 faculty on it. We have 80% of the faculty now using the learning management system, and it affects virtually every student at Brigham Young University. And so we have to hit that level of reliability right there. What we could do is kind of take a look at the quality of the offering in terms of the number of features that are offered by the current learning management system and what we're going to initially offer in our new BYU Learning Suite learning management system. And what we did is we took a look at what are the features that are used by most of the faculty and students most of the time, and deliver those in a way that's easier to use than the existing system, just as reliable as the existing system. So those are the kind of two quality elements that we looked at. It has to be just as easy or it has to be just as reliable, and it has to be easier to use. So, and that's kind of difficult because we think in our design, we think it's easier to use, but it's different. And so the users may not think it's easier to use initially. And so there's a training curve and a learning curve. After they use it a little bit, they say, oh, this is easier to use. But it's like going from, one kind of a vehicle to another. They're both automatic transmissions, but the shift mechanism is on the, column in one and on the, the middle panel on the other one. And some people just never get used to that. Same thing with the learning management system. You click here in one and you click here in another, and people, they'll just never get used to it and they'll think it's not as good. So, quality is so subjective in an application like this. You just have to do what you can. And then you provide instructional help to help address some of those kinds of issues. And that's kind of one of the roles of the project manager, as you go through and you start evaluating as it comes close to completion, and you start testing it with end users. You find out what are the issues that they have, and you build just-in-time help so that they can click that little help icon or the help with this page, and it brings up appropriate help that says, oh, this is what that is, now I know what to do. So you can address some quality issues with help, but you don't want to rely on that. But the old saying of it should be so easy that no help is needed, that you can almost never rely on that. So as much as you'd like to.